watching. You are watching.
You're watching. You guys are watching.
You're watching Soulful Discussion.
So hi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, and yourself?
I'm doing great. How did we just meet right now? How did our paths cross?
I mean, you just randomly came up to me.
Absolutely.
While I was eating my acai bowl.
Your acai bowl there? Absolutely. And I approached you. What did I approach you about?
A YouTube video.
Okay.
Just a simple conversation.
Absolutely. And what are we talking about today? The three topics.
Reflexology,
Yep.
feet, mental health.
And mental health. Okay. So now, when you hear feet, right? The first thoughts that come to your mind.
I honestly thought you were gonna do something about feet fetishes.
Oh, okay.
I was like,
interesting.
what?
Okay, interesting. Now we're gonna ask some questions today. These will be like your opinions about how you feel about that. So feel free to answer however you like. In terms of mental health, are there any topics that maybe you like feel strongly about, or that you like kind of research or anything like that?
Honestly, I just feel like with mental health, it's not really normalized yet too much. I work in the medical field.
Okay.
So I see a lot of people that aren't comfortable yet to talk about anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
And, oftentimes I feel like we feel alone, and I say we because I went through it. Still going through it. I think you never really stop going through it. Yeah, but I actually just got out of that funk.
That's good.
But I think sometimes people just think that they're alone, and unfortunately you do feel that way when you're in that position. And I just think, like, regarding mental health, we need to help each other more and make each other feel comfortable enough to know that you're not alone in it, and that there's always help, and it's okay to reach out for help.
Yeah, absolutely. So today we're going to talk about like social media, the impact it can have on like depression and anxiety. I'd like to get your thoughts like once we get there. Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of reflexology, have you heard of that before? Are you familiar?
I've heard of the phrase, but I'm not really familiar with it.
Okay. We'll give you some information today. You can tell me is it stuff that you find good, if you don't believe in it, whatever. It's your opinion, okay?
Yeah.
Let's start with the first question, okay? What are your thoughts about how the world's starting to become more aware of mental health and like what we're doing about it?
I think we came to a point where we talk about it so much on social media, but when it comes down to it, like just walking around, we're not really acting what we talk about or practicing what we really talk about. Sometimes, we see transients and they have mental health concerns or issues, and it's so much that we put on social media, like, we need to be there for them,
But we don't do anything.
Yeah, but we don't do anything,
That's so true.
We judge so much instead, or say, you know what, they have mental health issues, but we don't do anything about it. We don't, like, sit there and listen to them or talk to them or offer anything, any services or any places that can really help them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, like you were kind of touching on earlier, right? It's good that we're finally starting to talk about it, and like we're like moving in a direction, but we still have a lot of work to do in terms of like bringing it around to where something more normalized and that we're all doing it, right? And I think that we have a long way to go, because like you said, when you see situations like that, where you got people who are less fortunate than others, who we don't know how they got there. It could have been something that happened that was like very traumatic for them, and that's where they ended up going. But we need to find ways to like try to bring those people back, right? Absolutely. In terms of social media, right? What are your thoughts about it, and how do you use it yourself?
I have social media.
Okay.
I do use it. It's really easy to put something out there and to say something, but when it comes down to it, I feel like we all back up from what we say. Like, we don't continue to act on what we put on there. It's so easy to tell somebody, I'm there for you, girl, I got you if you need it. Yeah. But when it comes down to it, and they're,
it's like you by yourself.
Or it's like, hey, do you want to go out? I'm not feeling like good yet right now. I need to just vent. And it's like, girl, I got this. I'm gonna go with my mans, or and it's kind of like, well, you posted on a comment saying I'm there for you, I got you, but where are you right now?
That's real.
And I think that's so sad right now that sometimes, like, people, when they post things, it's kind of like an indirect cry for help, or and you don't really look into it, or you see people posting like, hey, like, random stuff like them crying or on their Instagram story, or like depressed music, and we don't ask them like, hey, are you doing okay? Like, how's everything? If you need anyone, I'm here for you. We just kind of keep clicking and keep going through the story.
Yes, and it's kind of sad, man. Like you said, I feel like in a way social media sometimes disconnects us from like that true human element that you're talking about, like empathy, being there for others, like when they need it. Like I think that's really important. Sometimes we get caught up just being in, like you said, seeing the story, and you think you're being there for somebody by, I'll watch the story or whatever, I left a comment, but it's like in person, being with somebody and like, you know, getting a feel for how they're doing and like maybe saying some kind words. In terms of social media, right? If let's say somebody came to you and said they're giving you the power to change whatever you want about it, what is something you would change?
To be honest, I wouldn't even know how to say it. Cause
like I don't know where to start.
I mean,
you don't have to have something.
I think if you just change, it's not just about changing one thing. I think it's about changing a lot of it.
Okay.
You know, social media has expanded so much. Before it was just posting like selfies or pictures with friends, and now, you know, I use it mostly because I like going to concerts. I like traveling. I find new places like that. You know, TikTok has expanded so much.
Yeah.
I definitely found a lot of places that I wanted to go to places I just traveled to, and I was like, oh yeah, because I saw it on TikTok. You know, or I tell like my coworkers, like, you know, I'm gonna go here. This is it. I'm gonna go here. I bought tickets to the state, like this state or this country, and I'm gonna go visit this part. Look, I saw it on TikTok. This is how it looks. You know. But overall, like, I just think it's not about changing the social media aspect. It's more of changing what we put into it. Okay,
that's dope. I like that. Okay. In terms of anxiety, right? Is there anything that brings you anxiety? And like, you don't have to go too in depth. Just maybe more surface level. Anything that causes that for you?
Overthinking.
Overthinking. Okay.
I think that's like everyone though. Like overthinking, or for me, it's mostly like thinking like where I've gotten in my life, what I've done, and thinking like where I want to be, and having that anxiety of like I need to finish, like it has to be done now, like I need to finish this part of my life, like I should be here already. And it's like my dad used to always tell me, like, don't try running when you can barely walk, you know.
And then your father's a wise man, like that's a big one, because to me, like, I feel like that's like it's something I'm always saying, like when I'm going out and fitness, like a lot of times we're in a rush to like be somewhere or do something, and it's like sometimes we haven't completely like learned how to do or master this part right here, so it'll make us ill prepared for the next step. So sometimes we stay there in those moments like until we're prepared and we're ready to go through with it. So yeah, I definitely like those words from your father. That's really deep. Absolutely. Let's get into these questions now. Well, first of all, before we get there, what are some things that you do when you do feel those anxious feelings coming on to counteract like those feelings, like to make you like maybe coping methods or something like that?
I come here.
You come here? Nice.
I come to the
because it's beautiful, right? It's like, you know, you hear the waves.
Even if it's at night, I'll even drive like to like a different area in Long Beach, and I'll just kind of sit down in front of the water.
That's dope.
Meditate. I read a lot. I'll go hiking a lot. Tire myself out so I could only think of how tired I am and not the anxiety. But honestly, I look into nature a lot.
That's good. That's good. I think that's definitely something that we all need, just to like unclog those mental spaces and stuff like that. Absolutely. Okay, so now let's get into these questions. I'm going to be intrigued to see how you feel. What are your thoughts about your feet? How do you feel about it?
I think my feet are cute.
Okay, nice.
Especially when I get pedicures.
Okay, nice. Have you ever received compliments about your feet?
I don't think so.
Never? Okay. Let's say...
like my pedicures,
Your pedicures, okay.
Yeah.
No, let's say that you were wearing like open toe shoes, sandals, something like that. Somebody said, hey, you have nice feet. How would that make you feel?
Honestly, a little weirded out.
Okay, a little weirded out. Okay, now why is that? Like, why would you feel weird about it?
Because it's so random. Like, usually people compliment like your hair.
Your eyes.
For me, it's always
your
my
smile.
eyes.
Okay.
But never my feet. I'd be like,
So when you get because you just mentioned like when you hear your hair, your eyes, that's a little bit different than hearing about your feet. Is there a reason why? Like, why is that? Why would it feel different?
Because my eyes are colored, so everyone always tells me that.
Oh, well, no, but I'm saying in general, like, because they're still pointing out something about you, right?
I think because it's something like you usually hear, like, oh, your eyes are pretty, your hair is pretty. But
so it's because those are more common.
Yeah.
Okay. So, because I always challenge back with that, right? I tend to find that, like, that's something that's normal, right? That people hear those type of compliments, so for them, hearing about that feels more normal, right? But to me, like, there's not really a difference because I'm still pointing out something about you, right? And as long as there's not like any, like, to me, context that comes across as weird, like if I'm just saying, I saw you in passing, oh hey, you know, you have nice feet, and I just kept going, I don't. To me, that wouldn't be weird, but to you, it would feel like
I'd be
it's
like,
a little
what?
bit different.
Like it was uncalled for. Like
Okay, but I feel like compliments are designed to make us feel good, right?
Yeah.
So it could be that somebody like just like saw that and they wanted to say something that make you feel good or whatever like that. And I feel like sometimes we got to focus more on like it being a positive as opposed to like being a negative, right? In terms of compliments you receive, right? What are some things you prefer to get complimented about?
To be honest, I don't.
Okay, so you tend to be like, tell me, is this correct, right? Somebody gives you a compliment, do you usually feel like maybe kind of like a little bit like shy or like nervous or maybe like a little giddy about it? So you don't know how to react. You're like, damn, like they're complimenting about this.
Yeah, but I usually say thank you, but I don't know. I've always been like that. I just get all like shy about that.
And it's okay because I feel like everybody's different about that. Let me ask you this: would you prefer to get compliments about like maybe your work ethic or like your personality or something like that? Maybe that you have a good sense of humor, things like that.
To be honest, I hear it a lot at work that I get tired. Like so I work in the medical field, so I'm the youngest one in my area.
Okay.
So I do everything. Like I'll help them with everything, like IT, their personal life, everything. And they always tell me thank you, or they'll tell me like, oh, your parents must be so happy, like I'm proud of you and stuff. But I hear it so much, and it's sometimes like I don't want to hear it because I feel satisfied just knowing that I helped them.
I see what you're saying.
You know, and like I feel bad when they give me compliments too because it's just something that I do out of my heart and kindness and just how my parents brought me up, and I don't expect anything, and I don't expect you're awesome, or I don't expect any
That's the humility side of you though, and here's something I would say to you, right? I think that like you said, the humility side of you is like reacting that way, right? But I think you have to, give your fellow co-workers like props because a lot of times people go and they don't hear anything from people.
Yeah.
They could be doing the same stuff that you're doing and never hear anything. And I don't think it's more about a gratification thing, but it's just knowing that, like, man, okay, I'm doing something to help somebody else out. Just hearing that sometimes is good because maybe you had a long day. Maybe you've like been going through some stuff and like just hearing that sometimes can like make you feel better.
Yeah.
So I think you just gotta learn how to like take it and just be like, you know what, it's cool. I love it. It doesn't have to go anywhere. Maybe it doesn't have to like boost your ego or anything, but just like hearing it can be something
just like
positive.
reassurance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. In terms of dating, right? Let's say that you were dating somebody, you want to start dating somebody. What is something you would consider to be a deal breaker?
There's a lot, to be honest.
I get that all the time.
I actually just broke up with someone not that long ago. And it was more so like I like to be independent.
Okay.
And the guy I was with, he had even told me to my face that he feared that I was too independent. So that was kind of
that's odd.
Yeah, so that was kind of like, wow, like, ever since I was younger, I knew what I wanted to do with my life, and what career, and my dad always taught me like things that aren't really like supposed to be for girls, like how to change my own oil, how to change my own tire, like things like that, how to build things, mechanics. So that you could do it yourself. Yeah, but it was always like my dad was more like, I don't want you guys to ever rely on any guy to do things for you.
That's smart.
So I've always been like that, like I'll go ahead and try it out myself or figure it out, anything that breaks down or anything.
I like that. That's dope.
My ex, I think, was intimidated about that.
Oh, of course, yeah, because for him...
Well, because he didn't know how to do those things.
Yeah, but not only that, but it's too, like, a lot of guys like to feel like they're almost like saviors in a way.
Yeah.
So it's like a savior complex. Like, they want to feel like, oh, I'm coming to the rescue and I'm like, protecting you from this. But it's like, to me, I've always felt like it's good to have a woman who's just as strong, who can do, like, things that I can't do. There's some things that maybe I can't do. But I do like the fact that your dad taught you that because, like, my mom, right, taught me the same stuff, like the opposite way that your dad taught you. So things that, like, normally guys won't normally know how to do, like, how to cook my own food, like, how to, like, sew, how to, like, wash my own clothes, how to, like, pay bills and, like, do all these different things. So, like, it's like now, like, I don't technically need a woman, like, for those things. It's cool, like, if I get with somebody and she's able, like, to do those things, but, like, if she can't, it's not, like, going to be, like, the end of the world for me. Like, it's, like, I can still do that. So I think your dad was preparing you for to not have to feel like you have to rely on a guy for something. Like you can rely on
Yeah.
yourself, and if you meet somebody who can do those things, then you can do those things together, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, he taught me a lot. I just lost him actually. So.
Oh, did you?
Mhm.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so
It's
sorry to
okay,
hear that.
but now like I look back at it and like, you know, I feel like when you lose someone, it's not like it doesn't stop there. It's like one thing after another.
Oh, for sure.
And during this whole time, like that, I haven't had him by my side. I look back and I'm like, wow, like yeah, he taught me so much, and
He's
even
preparing
like
you for life without him,
Yeah.
possibly, right?
and even like when I decided to just end things with my ex, it was more like I remember my dad telling me like, you know, I prepared you for this, so
That's dope.
you know, like you don't need someone, and it's
Yeah.
okay to be alone and just do you.
Yeah, and I've lost people too. I lost my brother when I was 17 years old. He was 18, and I lost him. And it was one of the hardest things I ever had to deal with. Like honestly, like because it was like it happened so suddenly, and like I didn't have time to like say goodbye or anything like that. But I do feel like I had those moments with him, and I try to remember all those things, right? The positive. So like you being able to remember the positive side of the things that your dad brought to your life, like tends to like help you like move forward and keep like getting stronger. So definitely great. In terms of pedicures, right? How often do you get pedicures?
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. So I'm guessing you don't get the gel pedicures. Then. You
I
get
do.
You do? But you go every 2 weeks? Because the gel is usually supposed to last longer.
Yeah, but since I work in the medical field, I'm not supposed to have my nails
Oh.
long, and they grow out pretty quick.
I
and
see.
I gotta
see.
go often.
I
Yeah.
see. I see. That makes sense.
It's my self-care too.
That makes sense. Like, because like if you work in a medical care field, I'm imagining that you probably do long hours. So
I'm a
you
nurse, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So like going out and doing that probably allows you to like feel relaxed. And
Yeah,
things
like
that.
Saturdays, Sundays are my self-care days.
That's dope. That's dope. In terms of pedicures, have you ever heard of medical pedicure before?
Medical pedicure?
Yeah.
No.
So that's when you go see a podiatrist, specialist of the foot, right?
I've done it in Mexico.
Okay, so and it was funny because I met the woman who told me about this. I met her near the border of Mexico, and she was telling me like she never gets cosmetic ones. She's like she only gets the medical ones because they can give you more insight into like things that may be wrong with your feet, and like they show you how to cut your nails. They show you like more information. What are your thoughts? Like, because you said you've had it done before.
Yeah,
what was
I didn't
it like?
know that's what it was called.
Yeah.
But I've had it twice in Michoacan.
Uh-huh.
It was really knowledgeable. I mean, it was something that I didn't even know they did,
Yeah.
and then I always wondered if they did it here in the U.S.
They do, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, they have
But,
spots, yeah.
You're right though. They do know more than
More
just
about-
going to a typical nail salon.
Yeah, just
They have
painting
that
them
knowledge.
and things
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
And they do tell you like, you know, like if you have drier skin, what
Yep.
lotions to use. There was someone like one of my family members that had I think it was like she had got a pedicure somewhere else, and then she got like a little fungus on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so then I always feared that. Like,
Yeah.
remember, you know?
It can be scary, man.
They
Like,
gave her like medication, how you're supposed to actually treat it correctly. So I liked it.
Nice.
I would definitely do it again when I go back.
Nice. Would you recommend that to somebody else, like to go and get that done?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think everyone has to try it at least once in their life.
Just to
you know?
see.
You don't lose anything.
Absolutely. How often? I know you're in the medical field, so maybe not as often. But how often do you wear open-toe shoes, sandals, flip-flops, things
On
like
the
that?
weekends.
On the weekends?
Or like
Okay.
if I'm off, I like my Tevas, so
Okay, nice,
Yeah.
nice. How often do you wear? I mean, how often do you go barefoot without shoes? Because you said you kind of go to the beach sometimes. You meditate. Do you ever take your shoes off and get like put your feet in the sand? And, like,
yeah,
Okay.
I always do.
So grounding and earthing, right?
Yep.
So do you feel, because for the people who watch, a lot of times people hear about grounding and earthing and they don't think that it's a real thing. Do you feel a difference when you take your shoes off and just like kind of
Yeah.
let your feet like be out and just relax?
Yeah, it kind of helps me to remind me that I'm still here
Absolutely.
and that there's still so much for me to see out here.
Man.
And that especially like when I get anxiety or like when I was depressed,
Yeah.
I would remember that there was still so much of life for me to see, and that my problems were so small compared to everything that
yeah.
the world still has to offer, to be honest.
That's so deep, man. That's true
Yeah.
though. Like, because I think sometimes we make like a mountain out of a molehill, right? With certain things that we deal with, and it's like, dude, like when you look back on this, like it really wasn't that serious. So,
Yeah.
And so like learning to let go, and like learning to like find ways to, like you said, meditate, like open up and unclog some of that mental space is always good. Absolutely.
But I think it takes a lot to get out of that space, and
Yeah.
you know,
for sure.
sometimes you just you have to love yourself enough to learn to get out of a situation that is hurting you, but learn to love yourself, and it's okay to be selfish and do you, and
you
care
gotta
for
put
yourself.
you first, man.
Yeah.
Always, absolutely. All right, so now can we see what your feet look like?
That's a little random.
Okay. So here's, I'm gonna tell you why. All right, let me give you some context behind my channel. Why I'm asking this question, okay? Are you familiar with exposure therapy? Okay, so, and this actually might be helpful for you because it's for people who tend to overthink situations. So usually you have people sometimes they're presented with situations, they'll overthink it, right? They'll think about things that have happened in the past, things that might happen in the future. And in reality, a lot of those things that we're creating are just as our mind being active, right? So therapists prescribe for people like that who tend to have problems with that, right? Let's say you had a fear of approaching strangers, right? They tell you go out and approach strangers, right? Do it over and over again. Get used to the uncomfortable feelings that come along with that.
Until it's comfortable.
Exactly, until it's comfortable. So you learn to cope with it, right? And that feeling might not ever go away, right? But it becomes something that's more manageable for you, in terms of finding ways to cope with it. I'm in this moment, I feel uncomfortable, but what's really happening now? Is there anything going to threaten my life, anything threatening my safety? If not, those emotions sometimes prevent us from experiencing life to its fullest, right? Yeah. So go out there and do those things, right? So in the past, I was somebody like that, right? I'm presented with situations whether it was approaching a pretty girl to ask her out, and I'm like, hey, she might say no, she might have a boyfriend, she might freak out, and I might get embarrassed in front of a bunch of people. And in reality, it's is anything actually gonna happen? I don't know until I actually go through with it.
The worst they could say is no.
Exactly. So exactly. But see, for me, because I was so much of an overthinker, I'm that's absolutely the worst, and that's gonna be bad for me. So learning about exposure therapy was something interesting for me, and I felt okay, cool. I learned about that. Let's go out there and put this into work. So I wanted to attach that together with the subject of feet, because a lot of people feel weird about it. They have negative connotations about it. They feel if somebody's into that, it's a weird thing, whatever. Kind of how you said, if somebody compliments you on your feet, you would feel weird about it, right? But
not gonna lie, I think I'm like that. Because I was just watching a show where they're talking about fetishes.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought.
Let me ask you a question though. Do you know what the top fetish is in the world?
No, I don't know anything.
Do you think it's feet? I'm just saying, if I just came up to you and I said top fetishes in the world, what will be the first one that will pop into your mind? It ain't feet.
I only know.
I was gonna tell you it's not feet. Feet's number 5 on the list of things. No. So it's always interesting to me, when I go out and I talk to people and they're like, man, feet are so weird. And I'm like, dude, there's some other stuff out there that's
I've only heard of feet really until I was watching this show, and there was so many, and I was like, what?
It's a lot. So my channel is all about trying to normalize the conversation around feet, right? Through my interactions with women. So I go out and do these interviews. I ask them all these different questions, see if you're comfortable enough. And it's so that if somebody might be into something like that, right, they can find a way to be more comfortable with the emotions that come behind it and feel free to express themselves in those moments. Don't have to feel like they're gonna be judged. Don't have to feel like somebody's gonna make fun of them or laugh at them or whatever like that. So that's kind of why I go and do it. So when we do these exercises, that's kind of why we're doing the exercise to see, can you be comfortable? We've been having a conversation. Can you still be comfortable in the moment and just live in the moment of the situation? What are your thoughts about that? Trying to normalize things that some people may see as weird or things like that.
I get your point.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You're right though. It's yeah, I get it.
Okay.
I just think it was random feet out of everything.
It is random, and I always realize that when I go out, it's not something that is
But you're right. You have to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what I was telling you, there's so much of life to see, and you can't stop just because you feel shy, then you miss out on so much of the world.
Absolutely. So in this moment, we asked that question at first, you were a little bit it's kind of random. Can we get you to can we see what you feel about?
I mean, sure, but I haven't done my pedicures tonight.
It's all good. Let me get you to first take your shoes off, leave your socks on. All right, and I'm gonna get you to kind of turn more this way, to kind of face me up like this. All right, and then take your other shoe off. All right, so first of all, what size do you wear?
I wear, depends on the brand, but usually a 7.
7? So does it vary, depending on, if you're wearing a sandal, a heel, something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Let me get you, put your feet like this, cool. And then toes straight up. All right. Cool. All right. So let me get you to take your socks off now. All right. And then put them down flat first like this so we can see the nails on. All right. And so, okay, so you have an old pedicure on it, but you got the black color going on there. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I don't know if you know about the different toe alignments. Has anybody ever told you about that? So you have what's called the Egyptian toe alignment. Your bigger toe is bigger than all the rest, so it kind of goes like along the line like this, kind of goes down.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you have there. So that's really good. It's really good. Okay, let me get you extend your feet back out like this. Cool. All right. All right, and so now how are you feeling? We're going through this. At first you're a little apprehensive. You're like, I don't know. But you got out of your comfort zone. How does it feel right now?
I kind of feel like I'm about to get ready to meditate.
There it is. So preparing you for those moments, huh?
Well, usually if I was like somewhere else, like like I don't know, hiking or somewhere really grassy where it's just me and I can like look into the world, like Earth, then I wouldn't mind it, you know?
Nice.
Because I have done that too, where just like walking and like taking off my shoes and being barefoot to ground myself, or even at the ocean, I do it too.
Absolutely.
I've done it at the snow, but
but you done it in the snow?
Yeah.
You're on a whole nother level.
But it's grounding, you know, and it's I think it's too like for my meditation, spirituality, and my faith too. Like I just can get more in touch and be by myself.
That's dope. That's dope. Let's talk about reflexology real quick. Okay, leave your feet up. We're gonna go through a couple more exercises. Okay. So reflexology deals with the different. Yeah, you're good. Reflexology deals with the different pressure points you actually have in your hands and your feet, right? Those pressure points connect to like different parts of our body, right? Through massage, through acupuncture, through acupressure, you can actually like alleviate stress and tension to various parts of the body. So, for example, if you're somebody who like deals with migraines, there's a portion of your foot and hands that you can massage to like alleviate tension you feel in those moments. If your lungs are congested when you sit, another portion that you can like massage or apply pressure to that can alleviate like the mucus buildup and things. What are your thoughts about that? Kind of like a more holistic approach to like maybe dealing with ailments that you may deal with.
To be honest, I think it's something that really can happen because when the lady that does my manicures and pedicures, she does that because usually it's after work that I go, and I've noticed too. And then one day I asked her like if she was doing pressure points, and she said that her mother-in-law had taught her. So she was doing them. So sometimes when I'm like really stressed, she'll hit certain parts.
Man.
Yeah, and I feel like I'd rather go to sleep, and I'm so calm to where I could sleep.
Yeah.
And then she'll just look at me and she'll tell me like, are you feeling better? And I'm like, hell yeah.
And it's interesting because like some of those pressure points do like promote good sleep. So if people are like have trouble sleeping, like doing that can help you out there too.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we like enter like reflexology. I usually talk about sensitivity here. When you get pedicures, do you tend to be sensitive, like very ticklish and anything like that? All right. Now I have a trick for you. Would you mind if we test on camera to show you that trick?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Bring it to extend your feet out again, how you had them before. All right, put them side by side. Cool. I'm gonna start with the right foot, and I'm gonna work my way from bottom to top. Then we're gonna go left. Tell me which one is most sensitive and where it's most sensitive. Okay. And I'm actually gonna do it this way, and then I actually have a tool to use that's specifically for sensitivity. Okay. So let's do it. Let me get more. All right, 1, 2, 3, and where do you feel it at most?
On the arch.
Right in here?
Yeah.
Okay. And in terms of like on a scale of 1 to 10, what is that?
Like a 4.
Like a 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's test your left. Tell me if this one is more sensitive. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and you feel this one less or more?
The same.
Same? Okay. Do this. Wiggle your toes. Tell me if you feel it more or less. Less?
Less.
You know why?
Because my body is more focused on moving my toes.
That's part of it, right? And then also you have like these muscles and nerve endings down there. So when you're moving your feet like this, like in that motion, it doesn't allow you to pick up on that sensation. All right, try it here. Let's see if it's the same thing here. Less?
The same as this one where I wasn't really feeling
less. Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna try it with this tool. Tell me if this is more or less, okay, when I do it. Oh, looks like that. All right, here it is. All right, cool. So I'm gonna start from the bottom and the top. And okay, tell me where you feel it at the most. Where do you feel it at the most?
Top of my arch.
Right in here again? Yeah. Okay. What's the scale now? Is it more or less?
It's 3.
3? Okay.
Less.
What was it before? You said
4.
Like a 4. So this is less.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. What is it over here? Same thing? Does it feel like about the same?
Yeah, like a 3.
About a 3?
On top.
Wiggle your toes. Tell me if it's less. Less?
Yeah.
Less? Okay. Cool. And over here too, same thing?
Yeah.
All right. One more. All right. Tell me if this is more or less. Like a lot of people tend to be more to this with this one. Is this more or less?
Way less.
Does this feel like a massage?
Yeah.
I find that out a lot. They're like, it feels like a massage.
Yeah.
All right,
Like
cool.
a 1.
Like a 1. Okay. Leave your feet up. Get you to do a couple exercises. This is the test: dexterity and flexibility. Okay. Get your toes up straight like this. All right. Bend your toes. Make a fist. Tell me if you feel pain or discomfort when you're doing it. Is that easy to do?
Yeah.
It seems like it's a little hard to do here to get them in. Okay, there it is.
Honestly, because I'm cold right now.
Okay, all right, cool.
That's fine.
All right, relax. And then let me get you to spread your toes. Tell me if you feel pain or discomfort while you're doing it.
Oh, no, I do
that's
the
a little
opposite.
hard.
Yeah, the right side is harder, but the left is not, and I do it often at home. It's not uncomfortable.
All right, cool. Wiggle your toes for 10 seconds. Tell me if you feel pain, discomfort, any cramping, anything like that. Easy to do? Okay, cool. Let's wrap it up now. Okay. In terms of my approach, coming up to you, asking you to do this interview, was it good? Was it bad? What were your thoughts about my approach?
I thought it was random because I was just coming to eat my acai bowl.
Oh, yeah, here comes this guy asking me to do an interview. Absolutely.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I'm going to sit down in quietness, but not really because there's so many people down there. But, no one was around.
There it is.
Yeah.
But did you find it to be good? Was it bad?
It was interesting.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. In terms of the interview from start to finish, did you see how everything was going in the line? Did it make sense?
Yeah.
Did you learn anything new?
At the end, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it made more sense. Did you learn anything new from the information? Exposure therapy?
Yeah, but also there's many different fetishes apparently after all.
Yeah, I'm telling you, go home. When you go home,
I'm good.
Oh, well, maybe not. Okay, but yeah, if you ever have a chance, like you'll see, like that's like man, some crazy ones out there. The last thing I'll ask, from a mental health standpoint, a life lesson that maybe you learned, some wise words that maybe somebody once imparted to you that you could share on my channel that might be helpful.
Yeah. It was after my dad passed, and I kind of had to put it together on my own, and with everything that had happened and what I had to go through. I realized that it's okay to take out people from your life or step away from them or choose for them to not be in your life, or even when they walk away, it's okay not to feel sad about it, because in the end you don't owe anyone anything. You are where you are because you want to be, and you got yourself there, and you don't owe it to anyone else but yourself.
Absolutely. And it's like kind of like you said, right? Even with the lessons that we learn from our parents, right? We still have to go out there and live our lives and make those decisions. But it's those lessons that we learn that like help us with our decision making, and that sometimes makes it a little bit easier. Definitely appreciate you stopping to do this interview. I know you was eating the ice, so you didn't get a good chance. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, and we hope that you have a great one. Okay.
Thank you. Me too.